Going Places, written by Roger Trow, narrated by Bernadette Homerski. Prologue. During the latter half of the 21st century, the world had been in turmoil. Natural seismic disasters followed by tsunamis had struck around the Pacific Rim of Fire and simultaneously in the mid-Atlantic. The destruction of America as an economic and political force had led to the emergence of China and Europe as the arbiters of world power. Peace was elusive, and following nuclear exchanges between Pakistan and India, China and Europe took the opportunity to seize smaller states for economic gain. The rise of absolute dictatorships in these countries led to an uneasy stalemate that continued throughout the latter half of the century. The 22nd century was ushered in with a series of innovative discoveries. Many of them originated in Britain, like cold fusion and developments in artificial intelligence, or AI, that advanced the field of robotics, and some groundbreaking technological inventions came from the household of Dr. Jim Stewart, because there were some also which were being brought into that household from exotic places. Jim had been a member of the international force that fought in Korea against the hegemony of China, but with the end of hostilities he had been invalided back to England, where in due course he left active service and pursued a career in electronics and manufacturing of security and surveillance systems. Among the significant technological discoveries at the dawn of the new century was the discovery in Korea of a protein by geneticist Dr. Glenda Woods and her late husband Dr. Toshio Hokaida. In a time of global unrest and regional wars, Glenda and Toshio discovered that this new protein had wonderful properties that they hoped ultimately would benefit mankind. To escape the Korean war zone, they fled to Japan, to Toshio's birthplace, Kyoto. There, the couple continued their work, and the Kyoto Protocol was developed. It came to be called KP for short. KP, it was discovered, enhanced human intelligence and enabled the brain's latent ability of telepathy to develop. Later, when KP was injected into their own daughter, Sakura, she displayed even greater abilities than they had hoped for. But the theater of war was expanding, and their work was jeopardized. The expansionist regime in China had taken advantage of political weakness outside Asia and moved to annex several countries into a new superstate, the East Asian Republic. First Korea and later Japan were invaded, and then they were annexed to become provinces of the EAR. Toshio and Glenda Hokaida lived under the threat of arrest by the EAR secret police and decided to safeguard their discovery by impregnating Sakura and her cousins, who acted as surrogates, to carry the KP-enhanced embryos. The biological father of the children was Dr. Jim Stewart, who had unknowingly donated his sperm while he was a patient in the war hospital in Korea. For 3 years, the children grew and developed their powers, but knowledge of their telepathic abilities had to be kept from the authorities, so the families decided to flee Japan. Toshio and Glenda decided that the 3 mothers and the 3 children must flee to England, where they expected Jim to help the children and the daughter of his old friend Toshio, to whom he owed his life. Jim had sworn to Toshio that whenever he needed his help, he would faithfully give it. Unfortunately, communication with England was impossible under the occupation of the EAR, and Toshio had to place his trust upon the word of his close friend. The plan was executed of necessity when EAR agents stormed Toshio's home, and he died defending his wife and daughter. It was a time of great danger in Kyoto. There were many who preferred to collaborate with the occupying army, and sooner or later the family might be betrayed. The 3 mothers and their children found sanctuary in the Japanese underground movement. Through its international links, the underground negotiated a plan to save the precious secret of KP. It was just too valuable to be allowed to fall into the hands of the East Asian Republic. The Hokaida children and their mothers
Sample complete. Ready to continue?